Sometimes I sit on a bridge and watch the cars go by, and think about how all of the people around me are living lives equally complex as me. I'm reminded that I'm just a small little human, and being reminded of how small I am makes me wonder if anything that I'm doing actually matters. One of the fundamental tenets of a lot of religions and philosophies is that everything around you is transient. Everything came from dust and is going to dust. We're here for this specific arrangement of molecules and atoms, but eventually they will disperse and rearrange, and everything we know and love will go away. So with the impending and inevitable destruction of everything that we care about and everything that we do, what is it that we should do with our tiny blink of an eye that we have here alive on Earth? It's an overwhelming question. If you ask Stoics, they might tell you that we should pursue justice. Zen Buddhists might tell you that you should pursue enlightenment. Christians might tell you to live in accordance with the will of God. Humanists will tell you to pursue your own happiness. Which of these is right? Most of my audience will agree with the final perspective, the humanist perspective, that we should pursue what makes us happy. But this is actually a fairly modern belief. Humanism has become the dominant world philosophy. Even if you're of a different religion, you still share humanistic beliefs, but this is only in relatively recent history. A few hundred years ago, this belief would have been laughable. I think that asking what is the meaning of life is one of those impossible questions that we could debate about for hundreds of years and never come to a single conclusion. Now, that doesn't mean that it's useless to consider, but maybe what it does mean is that we shouldn't predicate our happiness, our motivation, our will to live on finding the answer to a question that is ultimately unanswerable. And I'm not trying to say that because there is no general meaning to life, there is no meaning in life. I think that life is full of things which have subjective meaning to us. Things like falling in love, creating art, working fulfilling careers. Intuitively, we understand that these things matter, not because of their relevance on some grand scale, but because they matter to us. To me, that's what's most important. To paraphrase Viktor Frankl in his theory of logotherapy, maybe the meaning of life is to find meaning in life. Ultimately, this is still a humanist perspective, because I assign meaning to things based on how they make me feel, and based on the impact that I see them having on other people, and myself, most importantly. But it's very different from just doing the things that I want to do for pleasure at all times. And this is where I get pretty confused. Last week, I went home for Thanksgiving break. I spent over 8 hours a day on my phone, and while not all of these hours were wasted, a lot of them were. A lot of the time, I was just sitting there with my brain turned off, seeking hits of dopamine from, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And towards the end of the week, I had a coffee with a friend, and I realized that what I was doing was wasting the time that I have, the tiny blink of an eye that I have here on the planet. It seems a little bit extreme, but in reality, that's what I was doing. I was being a dopamine-seeking robot instead of being a human. In some way, this behavior is just kind of the logical extrapolation of where I started this video, which is by saying that nothing matters. Really, it doesn't matter then, whether you stay on your phone 8 hours a day, whether you sleep 12 hours a day, whatever you do, it doesn't matter. There's no meaning. And yet, because of my subjective experiences, I refuse to accept this. I refuse to accept that there is no meaning in the world. And I understand that it could just be my animal brain that is inventing meaning. And there will be some cynics in the comments that say, well, there is no meaning in the world. And I accept that that might be true. At the end of the day, all that I can really optimize for is myself. And so it comes back to that humanistic perspective. In this way, we choose to do the things that we think matter for no particular reason except that we believe that they do. We do things like fall in love, make art, build beautiful things, knowing that eventually, one day, it'll all go away. The people that we love will die. The art that we make, the things that we build, will all fall apart and be forgotten. Everything that we do will go away, and yet it doesn't really matter. Because we were there. We got to experience it. We got to be happy. And we found meaning in life. And all we had to do was turn our brains on and listen. Thanks for watching. I'm aware that this is a very, subjective video and that what I'm saying is not going to resonate for a lot of you, but I would love to hear what you think in the comments. I always love to read, contrasting opinions because I believe that a lot of us live in echo chambers, and so, maybe this is a belief that's shared among my peers and my friends, and maybe your, circle is very different, and I'd love to hear that because I think there's a tremendous amount of value that can be gotten from hearing contrasting opinions. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.